first of all, tell us about this deal that you've done for the ground and what it means to Bury.
Well, for me, what it means to Bury is to try and create the financial stability within the football club. We all know 6 months ago the club was 12 hours away from going out of business. And part of the remit that I wanted to try and do is to try and get the club on a financial footing that it doesn't have to have them dark days again. So by looking at opportunities to create revenue, one of the ones that we looked at the start of the season was to get stadium naming rights. So we wanted to get the right brand on board, and we feel we've done that with JD Sports.
So do you think people are actually going to stop calling it Gig Lane and call it the new name?
I think a lot of people will always call it Gig Lane because of that's what it's been known. But you know, we've got a brand here that we're trying to work with JD Sports, who are a professional company and a local company that's done extremely well. And that's where we want to work with them companies to try and make it a success as well. So I think people will call it over the Gig Lane, but I'm sure people will get used to calling it JD Sports as well.
The money that comes in from this, is this just going to stabilise and keep the club going, or is there going to be money now that's going to be spent on players, etc.?
Yeah, we're always looking to recruit players. You know, we're always looking to try and work with players, work with the management team, to bring players in. So the money will be made available, you know, to go recruit better players, because our aim, as I've always mentioned, over the next 5 years is to get us into the Championship. So by doing that, we've got to heavily recruit in the team. We've got to bring the right quality in to get us out of this division. But the only way I want to get out of this division is by promotion.
Can you put a figure on it, or do you not want to do that?
No, we can't put a figure on the deal because we said to JD, you know, we wouldn't put a figure on the deal, which is right with them as well, because you know they're involved with other clubs as well. But I know from other deals that stadium naming deals, this is you know a huge success. It's the biggest deal the club's done financially on a commercial deal in its history.
Is it enough to be able to now make better use of your pitch? Because obviously you had a problem with the game being called off, and not only have you got your own games here, you've got FC United, and I know recently Huddersfield Town played a reserve game here, so that can't have helped the pitch, can it?
No, the pitch is an issue because when they did the drainage here a few years ago, they've actually wrapped it in a membrane, I believe, which stops drainage from soaking the water away. So there is a cost there, and it doesn't. The water actually sits underneath the pitch, so it's not draining away. And when we've had the bad weather that we've had over the last few weeks, it doesn't help. But obviously we've got responsibilities with FC United that we've taken on this year. That they're in the final year of their agreement with us. But in the summer we are going to be relaying a new pitch and a whole new drainage system as well.
But there's a worry now that for the rest of the season, if the heavy rain continues, you're going to have more games off.
Yeah, we've got to try and look at the ways. We've invested in a new bit of equipment that's also to try and break the soil up. So that comes in next week. So that will help to try and soak the water away. But it doesn't help when the drainage system is not working as it should do.
Now, you said that Ronnie Jepson's got the job until early in the new year. Do you feel that will continue on after that, or is it too early to say?
It's too early to say for us, really. What we wanted to do is we said we wanted to create stability within the playing squad. The senior players and the players there was all behind Ronnie. They enjoy his training methods. He's changed one or two things around, and we feel like they're all behind him. We actually thought we'd turned a corner when we played Wickham. You know, we were superb down there. We could have won the game 4-5-1. But we had a frustrating performance against Torquay in our last outing, and you know, there's nobody more frustrated than myself and Ronnie that we didn't get the results that we do. But this division's that tight. You know, we're 11 points off the playoffs, 15 points off the top of the league. So if you can put a run of games together, which you can get 4 or 5 wins under your belt, then you can be right up there.
The sceptics obviously would say, well, you've got somebody in mind for later, and that's the reason you've done what you've done. But it's just to give him an extended trial, effectively, is it?
Yeah, it's to give him an extended trial. You know, we've wanted to be fair, and you know, if you bring another manager in now, all they're going to do is use the excuse saying, well, these aren't my players, these aren't my players. So if they do that and they come in and results don't go their way, Ronnie was never going to use that as an excuse. Ronnie was never going to turn around to me and say, you know, these aren't my players. This is a case where Ronnie says, well, we've got to get the best out of these players. So we've tried to make sure that the squad of players that we believe that we've got the strength to be in the top half of the division, and it's Ronnie's job to get the best out of them.
Has been a chairman all you thought it would be before you took on the role?
Yes, yeah, it has really. It's interesting because you never really understand the business until you're actually in it. So we've had now 4 or 5 months, and the unfortunate part about it, you're still finding things that are coming out of the woodwork. You know, there's invoices that have been left from the previous regime that we've had to pick up and pay. You know, and that's difficult for us and the board of directors, because we're trying to run this now in an efficient business so we can move forward and progress our plans to get us into the championship. By doing that, this year we always said was going to be the hardest year, because there's players that are now left the club, but unfortunately we're still paying for them people. So, and we will be for the next 4 to 5 months, and they're not giving any benefit to Bury Football Club. So that's frustrating. But this year we'll get where we want to be, and hopefully we still have the aspirations of getting in the top 7 as a side. Certainly Ronnie has them aspirations as well. So hopefully over the course of the next few weeks we can get some positive results on the pitch and move up the division. You
are young, you look young. Do you feel as if you've aged? Do you feel as if you've aged though?
Not really, because I've got a really good team of staff around us. You know, the chief exec's been brilliant. He's in here every day, you know, looking at things and trying to improve things, and all the staff we've inherited have been absolutely superb. You know, they've stepped up to the level that we want to be at. And you know, we've had to make some difficult decisions. We've had to make some decisions which we believe is in the benefit of Bury Football Club, and every decision that I feel like we've done has been for the benefit of Bury. You know, I go to every game, home and away. You know, there's nobody more so that wants us to succeed than myself and the board of directors. You know, we look forward to the Saturdays. We look forward to, you know, making a 3.5-hour trip down to Bristol on a Saturday. But it's we just got to get the results right and start moving up the division. And I believe with things that we've put in place here, and that we've still got some more exciting things that's going to come out over the course of the year, which is going to hopefully show where we want this football club to be.
Jeremy, how pleasing is it to get a national brand like JD on board?
Yeah, it's extremely pleasing, because we had a number of different companies that we was talking to who we was wanting to take up the stadium naming rights, but we wanted to make sure the brand was right. You know, one of the companies that we was talking to was a tobacco-based company. We didn't feel that was the right brand. They came in with an offer, and I turned the offer down, because the way that I wanted to go was with the 63 schools in the borough. We're trying to target the next generation of supporters, and I felt that the image of a tobacco-based company wasn't right for us to try and recruit kids to come back to get into the club. JD Sports, they're a local brand. They're still based in Pilsworth. They've got 350 stores UK, and they're also a worldwide based company. So everybody knows JD. You know, I think they're doing a big marketing campaign at the moment running up to Christmas, and for the kids and for the next generation of coming through supporters, everybody knows JD Sports. So that was a big thing for us with getting the brand right.
We know you're trying to, you know, the division, the championship division. Do you have JD? Is it a strictly commercial deal? Do they look at this hard-nosed businessman, or do they buy into the vision as well?
I think they bought into the vision. I think they also bought into the passion here as well. You know, they saw the passion of what we was wanting to try and strive. This is the biggest deal JD has ever done with a football club. Right.
And they've done a few.
And they've done a few, exactly. You know, they've also got the other brand, Cabrini, which they do a lot of sponsorship with a lot of football clubs. So this is the biggest brand they've done, but you know, I think they believed in the passion. And you know, we've had 1 or 2 people say to us previously, no, JD haven't got involved with Bury over the last few years. But I also think that's partly because they believed in where the club was going to be run and how the club was going to move forward. They were impressed by the vision and the attitude that we had.
And it could be just no disrespect to previous, they've just not been approached in a serious manner.
Yeah, maybe. Sometimes it is a little bit of a thing where if you get off and get off your backside and knock on a few doors, then them doors seem to open a little bit more. And the one thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to, you know, get out and knock on people's doors. We've been extremely thankful to all the commercial sponsors that have come on board. You know, we've been extremely thankful to the council, because the council has supported the club. But this deal that we've done with JD is the best deal in the history of the club, commercially wise. So it was too good of a deal to surpass, and we just felt the brand was right and it ticked all the boxes.
Can they just, I honestly don't know, are they going to put products in the shop, or are that Surridge domain?
No, Surridge domain, this is quite an unusual thing, because which not a lot of people picked up. Surridge will still be the kit suppliers, because we still have a contract with Surridge. So JD won't be supplying the kit, JD will just be the sponsor on the kit from next year. The way that the agreement is looking to work is we're also looking to put some merchandise into some of the JD stores, hopefully locally. And hopefully if we can go up the divisions, then we might be looking to put our merchandise across the stores nationally as well.
Right, that's another, again, exactly. I mean, you mentioned you came in and it's been root and branch pretty much, hasn't it, really?
Yes.
And through my other sort of contact with the club, I know I was frightened, but really in some respect to the figures that were shown to me. I mean, you've still got quite a bit to work to do, haven't you, in all areas of the club yet?
Yeah, the work's going to be, like I said, this year was always going to be the most difficult year for us because there's things that you find out and you never really truly understand until you're actually 5-6 months in there. What's frustrating for me is that the figures that we knew that there was at the start of the year, it's obviously more than that. So the club's got to get itself earning third-party income. At the moment we get an income from the Football League distribution and from the games here, but we play a game once a fortnight. Attendances have been absolutely superb. The supporters have been brilliant. I think we're getting an average gate of 3,000, which is absolutely incredible. We want to build on that. We're trying to give more and more incentives. We're trying to do more family fun days. But the difficulty that we have is on a game we probably take in about £10,000. We only probably make a profit on the game of £7,000. Right. So in the course of the scheme of things, it doesn't really help. The season tickets, unfortunately, before we took over the club in May, 1,000 season tickets had been sold previously and that money had gone. Yeah. So we didn't have any of that money to use, which is a big chunk of money gone out of your season. So it was really difficult for us because what we've got to now try and get through is make sure that we get through this season, do what we need to do and build on it to make it progress. That's off the pitch. On the pitch, we want to be challenging. We want to be in the top 7.
How hard is it to get that success off the pitch without success on the pitch? You seem to be doing it at the minute.
Yeah, we're doing well at the moment off the pitch. Yeah, we're doing extremely well. It is difficult because as good as what we are off the pitch, everybody judges you by performances on the pitch. We've done a great deal, like you say, with JD. Like you say, it's the best deal in the club's history. But people always look at the league table and say, well, this is where we are. So our focus is to try and do that, and that's part of the reason being financially. We've got to try and make it funds available so that we can go out and recruit the right players. We've also got to make sure that with the manager, when we're doing our due diligence on a player, we know all about them. Yeah,
I mean, it goes back. I mean, I'm Black used to tell us, players have been signed with bad injury records, and then wondering why they've got injured.
Precisely that. Yeah. And that's the difficulty, is that we've put a thing in place now with doing medicals before players sign, and I know historically that wasn't in the place, and there has been players that have been signed with injuries, and people wonder why they're not playing. And if from the player he's collecting his wage, and he can't give the performance on the pitch, so we've got to make sure that we get the right sort of player coming through. We know all about them. We looking at players, and I know Ronnie and his coaching staff have been out to look at games on the last 2 or 3 nights as well, looking at identifying new players so that when the opportunity arises we can move on it.
How frustrating is it that, because I know Ronnie's frustrated, Chairman, that you can't do anything now because of the way the rules are? Are you almost marking time till January?
Yeah, it's difficult because you're only allowed 8 loan players in your side. You're also only allowed to play 5 loan players in a squad on a Saturday. So it is difficult because the players that we've recruited or we've backed to go get, sometimes we feel as though we've not, 1 or 2 of them players aren't just at that level yet to be where we can do. So we're looking at recruiting new players, but it is difficult because from our position there'll be nothing more than to go out and sign a player now, and talk to a club. And it's also the business of a club, certainly in the lower leagues of football. If you get a player transfer coming through, it always helps financially, and that's not about Bury Football Club, that's all of the football clubs. I'm sure if you asked Accrington Stanley now, if they got a player there and you was to pay them £100,000 for that player, they'd be over the moon.
And they would. I mean, that said though, therefore, how pleasing is it that somebody like Craig Jones, who's if not the best player, or certainly one of the best players, has committed his short-term future to the club again?
Yeah, I mean, we sat down with Craig and we obviously wanted to make sure that we've identified Craig. He's been superb at the start of the season before his injury. He was top of the assist leagues in every division. We knew that there was a couple of clubs that might have been interested in Craig as well. But the one thing that was with Craig is when we sat down, he believed in our vision.
Good.
He believed in the board's vision. It wasn't the case of I wanted to go and try and get in to sign for a championship side and maybe on the fringe of that team. He said, well, I know I could probably achieve that with Bury, with what we're going to do. So, you know, he believed in the plans of where we wanted to take this club, and it showed to the fans that how strong that he believes in us by he's committed his future for the next 2.5 years with us.
And also importantly as well, it shows to other people you may be interested in that, look, if he's doing it, why not me?
And that's the thing, is that footballers talk, you know, and the differences that we've done behind the scenes, putting in the new gymnasium, the new medical facilities, people talk and they can't believe it when they come here. You know, from what Bury was last season and how they've seen it now, they can't believe the transformation. And that's what Craig said. He said he was one of the players that saw it last season. Yeah. You know, he was one of the players that was here last season, and he was like, the transformation that's happened in such a short period of time, he couldn't believe. And the way that we travel, you know, the away team travels, and they get the best of coach travel, they get the best hotels when they travel away, and the players recognise that. You know, I think other clubs have played us and they've all travelled in cars. Yeah.
Oh no, I think they're well looked after. You know, do you appreciate it? Did he tell you?
Yeah, they do. I just said all I want is 3 points. I says I'm not bothered about anything else. It's just 3 points. That's all I'm interested in. Yeah. So, you know, we believe in the players. Yeah. We believe in the players. We believe that we need the fans to get behind them. You know, because we've had we have had a difficult start, but we believe that we're good enough. You know. And I've said it, I don't believe that there's been a team in this division that I've said that are better than us. Yeah. You know, we've had a few, you know, unlucky games, we've had a couple of bad performances, but if we can perform to the level that we should be playing at, then we should be in the top half of the division.
And as you mentioned before as well, you know, this division is so tight, nothing's done at either end, is it?
No, nothing. It is, because you look at Accrington, who were falling away. You know, they've gone on an incredible run and brought themselves back into it. You look at Rochdale. You know, they've won 8 out of 9, I think it was, and they've gone flying up the division. So, you know, we played Fleetwood away, who are now top, and Anson hit the bar. And if it had dropped in, it'd have been 2-0 up, and I'm sure we wouldn't have lost the game. So it's fine margins, but we brought in players. You know, we brought in Danny Hilton from Rotherham. Unfortunately, he just took a bit of an injury, but he's now fit and he'll be available obviously on Saturday. We brought in 1 or 2 other players. We brought in a new left back as well. So we feel we've got the capabilities to get ourselves in the top half of the division, and so do the players. The players believe that. You know, that's what their belief is they want to be in the top half. Yeah. And do you get as frustrated as they do, Ronnie does, and everybody does, when you keep, you know, as you said, dominating games, and then they get a corner, bang, oh no. You can ask the chief exec, he's black and blue after he's sat with me on a Saturday afternoon, because from me kicking him and punching him, from chances that go there, because I kick every ball. You know, I go to every game and I want to be there, and you know, there's nobody more so that wants us to win. And when you see the performances like we did at Wickham, certainly in the second half, where we absolutely tortured them, and to be fair to the Wickham supporters, they were they came to me and said, you know, you'll be easily in the top 10, easily, with that performance. And it's frustrating because we do so well there. I did think we turned the corner. We played Torquay, and
but you were first 15 minutes with that.
Yeah, we were superb for the first 15 minutes. And it's just, that's the frustrating thing, and we've talked about that. We've had a chat with Ronnie, and the players have had a chat, and you know, they're hungry for success as well, and they're hungry now to get the game on Saturday.
We're not there, and I know there's another game before then, but if beat Cambridge is a TV game, how important is that to the profile, to the finance, to everything?
It's very important to the profile, is because we're trying to raise the image of the club. You know, I don't want people thinking of this as just Bury Football Club, when we came on, you know, just as a low League 2 side. You know, we're Bury Football Club, and if it's good enough for Man United, it's good enough for us. That's the same thing. And so the image of what we've done here is to publicise how well what we've done off the pitch, you know, and trying to turn the club around. And so that'll be great, and hopefully it gives us people the spectacle to come and watch us play. And it's also good for JD as well.
Yeah, it's perfect timing for them to be honest.
Yeah, I've done it better myself.
So it's all over the JTV, however it is, a JD Stadium from now on.
Yeah.
So this rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I think they'll be pleased as well. And I think, you know, the chief executive of JD commented the other day, there was a lot of media companies that had been trying to contact him when the deal got announced, and he couldn't believe the amount of publicity that it was, and he was shocked in about how big the club actually is. And we're saying, you know, the club is big, you know, but we've got to work on getting the attendances up. You know, we've got 180,000 people in Bury.
Yeah.
You know, so if we got 5% coming to the game, you're getting 9,000 fans coming down every game. So that's what we've got to do. And we believe that we've got to target the schools.
Yeah.
We've got to get out there, and that's things that we're trying to achieve now.
Yeah, don't start me on that because it's another discussion. But I mean, again, from the other sort of involvement, and you know, I couldn't understand why the 63 junior schools in Bury, I think it was told them, why you've only gone to 50. And, you know, what's the plan? But I know Ian and Glenn are on the case on this.
Yes,
so, and I won't say any more than that. Finally, you know, you came this summer, you sorted the mess out. I can't think which game it was. I said to Gordon or something. I said, now he knows why he's involved in football. Which one was it? Was it the Cheltenham game or was it Wickham away? You thought, now I know why I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think obviously the Cheltenham game was a great performance, and you know, we won the game 4-1. And the Wickham game for me was a big turning point. You know, we'd gone down there. I think we obviously we went 1-0 behind. At half time we were 1-0, and I was sat in the board of directors room on my own having a cup of tea and
crying.
And I just you do think to yourself, you know, everything that we're trying to do off the pitch and what we're trying to do, it is difficult, and I just felt to myself as if, you know, things were going to change, and I had a belief, and I thought we would come out in that second half, and thankfully we did. We came out in the second half and played like we played, and we won the game. So after the game, it made the journey back up from Wickham a lot easier.
And quicker.